Hey everybody, welcome to the Josh Brett Horton Show. How y'all doing today? This is episode 11 of the Josh Brett Horton Show, and we got a special guest here today, M.G.C.
Woo! What's up, everybody?
Yeah, tell them what's up, M.G.C. What's going on with you?
From here to, you're over in North Carolina. I'm down here in Southern California. You know, I got my AC blasting, but it's like 80s, 90 degrees here in SoCal. Early July. My dad's birthday day after tomorrow, so I got an okay weekend to look forward to. I have a feeling I'm going to eat crab in like the next 2 days. So
Crab? What's that about?
I don't know. It's like my dad's craving some seafood, and you know, it's like I'm looking. Have you had crab before, Josh?
Never, bro.
I gotta say, it's like just a tip. Dungeness crab is like the meatiest out of them all. That's probably like their whole roasted chicken when it comes to crabs. Like Dungeness, they're like the fat. They got big fat claws. They're big boys. They're just full of meat, you know. But just it's like doing surgery though whenever you're eating one, because you need like special tools to get the meat out of those boys. But you know.
Yeah. I've never had any. I don't really eat seafood that much, man. But yeah, if I was to try it, what would you suggest?
Well, you're the part of the world you're in. You're in North Carolina, right?
Yeah, that's right.
South Carolina, that's like crab's a big deal.
See, where I'm at, North Carolina, it's at the state line. So you know, like I'm only 20 minutes away from South Carolina, where I live right now, and where I grew up at. I could walk to the state line to South Carolina to get beer at the store in 5 minutes.
But you need to go to like St. Matthews or Charleston or something like that because I know it's a big, like crab's a big deal in St. Matthews and Charleston. Like I read about it in a book. So there's like a whole thing about it in there. And I also watched like a food special on it.
Before.
Charleston, yeah. It's like very old. They got a lot of old do they got a lot of old buildings there?
Yeah, like man, it's like I think you can go on like a haunted like tour or some shit of the town or whatever. But yeah, I was actually born in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and raised in North Carolina. So I don't know. Do you know where Spartanburg is?
How far is it from Charleston? Because Charleston's just like my reference point.
I can't think, man. Maybe it could be like an hour, something like that. Maybe more. Maybe a couple hours.
That's like going from my house to North Hollywood then, because that's like I usually use that as like reference point. But are there any big questions you wanted to ask me?
I want to start out, man. Ask you about your childhood, man. Like, where was you born at?
I was born in the city of West Covina. So West Covina is a city in LA County. It's about 30 miles, maybe like 25 miles outside of Los Angeles. It's a Filipino enclave, so it's mostly known for being like Mexican, Filipino, Chinese, and it's a big Filipino community. It's the same hospital my mom worked. So I was born in the same hospital that my mom like worked at for like 20, 25, 30 years, and she's a blood scientist there. So like my mom wanted to keep it simple, like give birth to me at the same hospital she worked at. So
and is that where you spent most of your life at, or did you grow up somewhere else?
I grew up in Pomona. Like I still live in I live in the same house I grew up in pretty much. So this is always, we've just had a lot of different additions to this house. So, but Pomona has always been my city my whole life. So like, but I travel all over.
Pomona's in California too, right?
Yeah. Pomona is another city in LA. LA County is a really big county in all, because me, Ivan, and Mike live, we live maybe 30 on a regular, like 30, I live 30 to 40 miles away from Mike and Ivan, but on a regular basis, I drive to their areas pretty often, because like I like to hang out in the city that Mike lives near. And then I like to, go to like, there's a city Mike lives near with a lot of Japanese restaurants that are open till 3 and 4 in the morning. And it's called Torrance. And it's really cool to hang there because you get Japanese food at 3 in the morning when you're in that city, or 3 or 4 in the morning. You've got options. You're not just stuck with Denny's over there. So you have You have more to
But
pick
but but
from.
nothing wrong with Denny's or Waffle House, man. Because
Yeah, it's good
oh
sometimes. We don't
man,
have Waffle House in SoCal, sadly.
you don't have Waffle House down there.
No, we have IHOP. We
Oh
don't have
shit,
Waffle
bro.
House here.
Usually when I get drunk, when I was young, like in my 20s or whatever, early 20s, I would like as soon as we leave the bar, we would hit up the Waffle House or Denny's and like chow down.
And they're 24 hours, right?
Yeah, yeah, I believe so. They at least they was.
Yeah, we have Norms, we have Denny's, and then we have I think the only other one we have is IHOP, and not all of those are 24 hours, so it's very limited. Yeah, we just have Norms, and then we also have this other place called Corky's, and they actually serve beer there, but only at like different times. They got big portions though. But yeah, West Covina, that's where I was born.
So you ever been to any other countries? Because I heard you talking about
Oh,
Japan. I heard you talking
oh
about
yeah.
Japan the other day. Have you been there?
Yeah, I changed planes there when I was like, I changed planes there when I was how old? When I was like, I changed planes there when I was like 10 years old. You know, I've been to the Philippines 3 times. I've been to Europe when I was I went to Europe when I was 14. I've been to Mexico. I've been to Mexico 9 times,
Wow,
maybe.
man.
Yeah, because there's this city near San Diego called Puerto Nuevo. And basically I would go there with my family like several weekends in a row with some family friends. And we'd go there for lobster just because the lobster's cheap. And they give you freshly baked tortillas, right? And the
Holy
tortillas are
shit.
like, yeah, they're freshly baked and they're like this wide, the tortillas.
Damn.
They're huge, and then they give you like 2 lobsters, and then a plate of nachos, and a huge cup of butter, and then we'd stuff ourselves, and then we'd buy fireworks. That's how it
Mexican
usually.
food though, man, it's the bomb, man. I
Oh
love that
yeah,
shit. But
oh yeah.
I gotta say, man, I never had Japanese or Chinese food. I never had it. Never had it.
It's a big deal over here. We have Chinese restaurants that are open 24 hours here, and then we also got like Chinese restaurants that are open till 4 in the morning over here in SoCal. So that's like a big thing. I'll show you those spots when you're over here. But yeah, I've been to a lot of different countries. Yeah, I've been
How
to.
many countries have you been to
So let me see.
all together?
I changed planes. I changed planes in Taiwan. I've changed planes in Japan. I've changed planes. I've been to Mexico a bunch of times. I've been to the Caribbean, so St. Thomas and St. Martin. I think those are their own like their territories of European countries in the Caribbean. I've been to Florida. I've been to the East Coast. I've been to Canada, I think once or twice.
What
And
part of
then
Canada? Do you know?
I've been to Vancouver, and then I think I went to like near Niagara Falls.
Oh, okay.
I've been
Yeah,
to
see, I got some friends in Canada too. So yeah, shout out to Sir Cardinal and Canadian Basement. Yeah,
Yeah, what's up?
yeah, they're pretty cool.
I know. Montreal's the crazy thing about like Quebec and Montreal is that those cities are like built diagonal, so north, south, east, and west. There is like on the side. It's not really north. It's like sideways north, and south is like everything's sideways in that city. So if you got a compass in that city or you got navigation, it's gonna tell you to go north. But truth is, it's on the side. Everything's like diagonal in that city. It's the only city that's built that way. It's so weird.
Now, growing up though, I mean, whenever you went to these countries, like what was your youngest age when you went to your first other country besides America?
Mexico, I think I might have been like 7 or 8 years old when I first went to Mexico because it was something else because like I remember like it being really hot and like waiting in line at the border because I went to,
Oh yeah, it's hot as fuck down there.
yeah, I went to this
Well,
one city.
I've never been, but I've heard from a friend, man. I have some friends down there too, man.
I
But
went
yeah.
I went horseback riding in this one city. I forgot the name. It might have been Encinitas or something like that, but like old family pictures. And yeah, I remember the food being pretty good. You know, I mean, when I was a kid, I was a little bit more of a picky eater, but I liked everything I ate down there. I've been to Cancun maybe twice also, and that was when I was like 9 years old, 9 or 8 years old. That's like the first time I went to another country when I was like 8 or 9. And then I went to the Philippines when I was 10. Every time I've gone to, I'm Filipino, so every time I've gone to the Philippines, I've gotten sick. So it's because the weather is so different. It's super humid, and and like 80% of men smoke cigarettes. So like I'd breathe it in, and like I'm not used to it. So I'd get sick right away whenever I'm in those other countries. Mexico, I didn't get sick, but
See, man, the other week when you was first on the podcast on the Circle of Debate,
Uh-huh.
I remember Ivan asking you, like, no disrespect, but what ethnicity are you? And I was wondering the same thing because I knew you
Yeah.
wasn't Latino.
Yeah,
So I didn't know
I look a
I
little
didn't
bit
know
more Asian than those guys.
Yeah, I thought you was Asian or something, or I mean, not a Japanese or something. I didn't know
Yeah.
because you were saying you was picking all those Japanese wrestlers, so
Yeah.
that's why I thought that.
Yeah, and I'm into a lot of Japanese things, and I'm learning Japanese right now, and I'm planning on moving there eventually. But like as far as like, but yeah, are there any Filipinos in North Carolina? Because I don't really know
See,
myself.
I
I've
don't
only
know. I don't know if I would bet that there is, but I don't know them.
You know what? I could like this is based on a stereotype, but if you go to the hospital, I bet you there's several Filipino nurses out there because that's really big, and like almost all the women in my family are nurses. They're either nurses or they're doctors or they work in the medical field. So
See,
the majority of the Filipinos you're going to meet, Josh, they all work in medicine in one way or another. Majority of them, because like almost like more than half my family works at the hospital. So it's like, so I think if you go to the hospital, you'll definitely meet plenty of Filipinos there.
yeah,
I know
I
there's a
see
lot of
people
Filipinos
out,
in
but
Florida.
I don't ever stop and ask their ethnicity or
Yeah,
nothing like that.
exactly. But
Yeah.
like if
So
they
I don't know
look
how
like
many is
me,
here,
if they
but
look
like,
like me, then maybe. If you see a nurse
but
and she looks like me, then
but how many are like in where you're at? Are there a lot or is it rare?
like a majority. So the two cities with the most Filipinos in the United States is LA and San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
So San Francisco has this city called Daly City, and it's like a suburb of San Francisco, and there's a lot of Filipinos there. And then the equivalent of that is the city I was born is West Covina. There's this other city called Glendale, and Glendale's next to Burbank, where they film like Conan O'Brien, and they have all the Warner Brothers studios and Universal Studios, and all the big movie studios are there. In Glendale is right next to Burbank. Like they used to film the Tonight Show with Jay Leno in Burbank, and Glendale is right next door to that, and that's where another big Filipino neighborhood is. There's a lot of Filipinos in Glendale. Eagle Rock's another city that's near Glendale, and a lot of Filipinos are there too. And then there's also a lot of Filipinos in the city called Cerritos, and Cerritos is like north of Long Beach, and that's kind of where like near where Mike lives. And
Oh, okay.
Long Beach is where Snoop Dogg's from. Snoop Dogg's
Yeah,
from
yeah,
Long Beach,
yeah. The city of Long Beach.
city of
Hey,
Long Beach. And Snoop Dogg, another fun fact, I live near him.
holy shit. No shit. You live near
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg?
Yeah, Snoop Dogg lives in this city called Diamond Bar that's within walking distance of me. I could walk to Diamond Bar. And Diamond Bar, it's a big Korean community here. And Snoop Dogg lives in a gated community across the street from a night like a Korean supermarket. And there's this like gated community with like 2 million, like the cheapest house there is like at least $1.5 million. So,
Damn.
and it's all gated. It's a gated community with big houses. And Snoop Dogg's house, the houses in Beverly Hills aren't really that big. If you see this gated community in Diamond Bar, they're actually all those houses are way bigger than the houses in Beverly Hills, and they're just across the street from a supermarket. So Snoop Dogg's house is just, I think, less than like 7 miles away from me.
That's what's up, man.
It's a short drive.
I asked Ivan and I think Mike too about Hollywood. Have they ever been there? And
All the time.
Because I would love to go there and see the Walk of Fame and all that. But
I used to work there.
Yeah, they said it was like it's not as good as like being there when you live there.
I got a fact for you, Josh. I used to be a tour guide there. I would have been, if you came to visit, I would have given you the actual tour. Like I used to work. I used to work as a tour guide at that place. Like that was my.
When was you working as a tour guide?
Shit. I was
You know what
there.
year it
I was
around?
only there like last summer. Last summer I was working as a tour guide there.
That's not long ago at all.
Yeah, and so I could just show you all the same spots that they take you to. Like I memorized the tour basically. I could even show you I could show you some hidden shit that other people don't. I'll show you the Egyptian theater. So the Egyptian theater, there's a lot. I can give you the real tour, and you don't have to pay a penny. All you gotta do is get a pizza with me. That's it.
Holy shit!
That's all.
We might do that. We might do that if I go to fucking
come to SoCal.
LA one day. Yeah. I was gonna
Any
ask
other
you
questions?
also. Yeah, have you? Yeah, I was gonna say. You talk about you live close to Snoop Dogg and Hollywood Walk of Fame. So while we're on the subject, what famous people have you met?
Ooh, I was about to tell you this on the podcast. I had jury duty with Jared Leto.
With who?
Jared Leto, Joker.
Oh shit! For real?
Yeah, I had jury duty with him. It was funny because well, he didn't have a posse around him because I don't think you can't take you can't take your friends with you to jury duty. You got to go by yourself, and you gotta So basically, like I think some of the court clerks didn't know who he was, and the court clerk asked him, "Hey, do you want time off from college?" And they don't know that Jared Leto's like 46 or 48. They thought he was still in college. They're like, "Do you want to get exempt for school?" They were asking, and they didn't know who he was.
See, I'm trying to think about who you're talking about. Say the Joker?
Jared Leto. He's like the third. He's the most recent. He's before Joaquin Phoenix, after Heath Ledger.
See, I just watched the movie the other day with Joaquin Phoenix. Just the other day, finally watched it. But yeah, man, that was an awesome fucking movie too.
Jared Leto was in, have you seen Blade Runner, the newer Blade Runner?
No.
He's the bad guy in the newer Blade Runner. He's in a lot of stuff. People know him as the Joker. He's in the band 30 Seconds to Mars. He's the lead singer of 30 Seconds to Mars. He's in a lot of movies.
But is that like the only famous celebrity you've met out there?
Let me think. I met this guy. I met Hal Sparks. I used to work as a background actor too, so I didn't really meet them. I used to work as a TV extra, so I actually have met.
Hold on a minute now. You worked as a background actor.
Yeah, I did.
Tell us about that, man. That's interesting. Let's tell us about that.
So that's another job that like it's hard to exist outside of LA. So I did that for maybe like 2.5 years, and you could talk to the actors, but only if they talk to you first. So there's a lot of different people I've met. I've met Seth MacFarlane from South Park. I worked with him. I was in Ted 2.
For Family? You mean for Family Guy?
From Family Guy. Sorry, not South Park. I'm tired right now. From Family Guy.
You're lucky as fuck, bro.
Yeah, he's chill. He was like, he was usually like directing on set, and he had a cake. He had a big cake in the shape of a Jack Daniels, bottle. And
did you ask him anything?
No, because one of the policies you have to sign is you can't bother.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I've heard about that.
Do not bother unless they talk to you first. That's the only thing. Like Danny DeVito, Danny DeVito was talking to me about
Wow.
Yeah, I've met a lot.
Danny DeVito?
Yeah, Danny DeVito. He was talking to me about he wanted me to watch this documentary on sugar. I was an extra on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So I'm on like an episode with like an airplane where they're trying to drink 71 beers and eat a whole chicken.
You're gonna have to point that out to me one day, man.
I'm also on Westworld. I'm on the Goldbergs. I'm on a lot of shows that I don't even watch.
I didn't even know that, man. I didn't even know that about you. So you've been a background actor for all these shows?
Yeah. I was doing that for 2.5 years. Yeah.
Did you get paid good doing it?
Oh yeah, that's the whole reason I did it. Not for the fame, but mainly for because you get paid to do nothing. Like the only hard part about the job is that you have to be awake at weird hours, and you usually have to be stay awake until like for 13 or 14 hours because some of the shoots would go for a long time. But the food is almost always free. You know, they always have free food on set, and it's like minimum wage plus overtime. So I mainly did it for the money rather than like you can make a lot of connections on set though, and then you meet a lot of people who are like musicians and filmmakers and aspiring actors and people that came in from other states. I even met a wrestling student. He was a student of he was trained by both Gangrel and Rikishi, but I forgot his name.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Was
like
that your first like which was your first job, like when you was after you was growing up and you wanted to get a job, like what was your first one?
my first ever job was a roster clerk for the elections. Like I had to like take names down, and then
You done that too?
yeah,
So
I've done that too. I've done a lot of different things.
You took names down for elections. You've been a tour guide in Hollywood.
Been a tour guide,
and you've been a background actor.
Oh yeah, I'm 31 years old, so I've done a lot of different things.
You the same age as me. I thought you was younger than that.
Yeah, you know, it's because of the style. You know, I have a different aesthetic. I'm trying to look as young as I can. So, but the other thing I've done, I was really into like working in the restaurant industry. Like I was a bartender for a little bit. I used to be a private party bartender. That's why like I kind of have something in common with Ivan, because Ivan's like a bartender at like a real like karaoke bar. And
see, that's what my girl does. She's a bartender too. She got her license and everything, you know what I'm saying, her degree to do it. So yeah.
Did she start out as a server, or was she just promoted straight to the bar?
You know, I don't know. I'd have to ask her, but yeah, I know she does both. She's done both in the last few years.
Oh, waitress, server, yeah, because you usually do that first, and you know, I kind of got sick of working in restaurants, and that's kind of why I got out of it. I did private party bartending for like 2 years, and then like the other thing. See, I've worked in a lot of different factories. That's like the other thing I've done. So I think working in factories and warehouses was like the other thing I've done, and I'm trying to like see how much I can make just from like, you know, doing freelance work. I play a lot of different musical instruments, and then like
that's what I was about to ask you about too.
Yeah.
What made you get into music? Like what band?
So, I think I talked about this on the podcast a little bit, but it was wrestling that got me into music. Like, because when I was growing up, when I was little, I used to think like the coolest thing ever was rap music and hip hop.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah.
LL Cool J. I was listening to Coolio. I was listening to Notorious B.I.G. and Puff Daddy. When I was my big brother was mainly the one who was getting me into music. I was into Michael Jackson, and my brother would come in with different CDs. But then when I got to middle school, that's when Linkin Park started blowing up. And I never listened to rock music before Linkin Park. Like I used to think rock music was just for hippies when I was little. Because, you know, forgive me, I was a little boy.
Yeah,
you know?
I feel you.
Yeah, and I was like 11 years old. But then when I found out about Linkin Park, and the other thing, I was watching wrestling, I've never heard rock music before that. So I'm like, some of the first metal bands I ever heard was through wrestling theme songs, like Enter the Sandman. I heard
Jim Johnson though. Jim Johnson, man, what a killer fucking.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how he lost his job, but if anybody that don't know who I'm talking about, he created a lot of the fucking great theme music in the WWF back in the 90s and shit, like the Rock's theme.
I love all the songs.
A lot of good shit.
He deserves several Grammys, I gotta say.
He deserves to be put in the Hall of Fame. I tell you that, because that music is what made a lot of those guys' careers even better.
Yeah, I think if there wasn't that music there, like I don't know if I'd be as interested, because that always got me charged up hearing those songs.
Oh yeah, as soon as that music hits, boom.
And that's what got me into playing guitar. I wanted to learn because Raven's theme was Nirvana's "Come As You Are," and that's how I got into Nirvana. That's how I got into. So I was into Linkin Park, then I got into Nirvana, and then I got into the Foo Fighters, and then I got into Van Halen, and then after Van Halen, I started getting into like, you know, like I heard Hulk Hogan's theme, and that was Jimi Hendrix. That was Voodoo Child. Hulk Hogan was using Jimi Hendrix's Voodoo Child, and I was like, dang, this is the craziest thing I've ever heard on guitar. So I started learning about that, and then slowly I started, you know, and then after that I got into heavy metal. I was watching VH1 like almost every day whenever I got home from high school. So I learned about all those heavy metal bands from the 1980s. I saw you post about Motley Crue. I love Motley Crue.
Oh yeah, man, I love all the fucking '80s bands like Motley Crue and Guns N' Roses. Yeah. Warrant, another good one.
LA Guns. My God, like those are all. And then after that, because I was already watching anime, like Japanese animation, at the same time I was into wrestling. Here's what brings all of it together: Japanese rock. That's basically.
Oh, that's true.
So Visual K bands, they're kind of like Guns N' Roses or Motley Crue. Like they wear the makeup, they play the guitars and all that, but they're Japanese. So they kind of have like, imagine if like the hair metal era never ended when grunge came out. Like in Japan, hair metal never ended, and it eventually evolved into this genre called Visual K, and that became my favorite genre of music. It became Japanese rock. That's why I was telling you about that band. I showed you that band Glay. They're kind of like Iron Maiden and the Beatles combined, and they're really good. And they've been big in Japan since 1991, and they're like Iron Maiden and the Beatles, and just like a little bit of Motley Crue too.
And now, what year did you become a part? Didn't you become a part of a band yourself?
So I joined my first band when I was 17 years old. So in my senior year of high school, I sang for a thrash metal band. And then I spent most of like from 18 years old up until I was 26. I was in and out of a lot of different bands. I was either a lead singer or a guitarist in countless different bands. So like that's most of my 20s. Like it was either working or playing in bands.
And did y'all ever drop any albums or anything?
The band I'm currently in, we have a few songs out right now on Bandcamp and on SoundCloud.
And what's the name of that if people want to look it up?
So my current band's called T.GOM, T.GOM, The Gods of Music, and it was basically my brainchild because I wanted to make like a super band, right? So we're a 4-piece band, and we play like progressive metal, heavily influenced by like Japanese rock. So it's a little bit jazzy too. It's a little bit heavy, and and I play multiple instruments. So like tomorrow, as of this recording, I'm gonna get my first turntable, and I'm gonna be mixing that up with like guitar stuff. I'm gonna be doing like experimental stuff with guitar, turntable, a little bit of this. I got a little percussion guitar.
Play a little bit for us. What's the best shit you could play? Let's hear it.
That's just some improv.
What's the best guitar you got that you could play though? Do you have it on you?
This is my personal favorite acoustic to use.
What could you play on it? Like short, just like a minute.
You want one of my original songs I could do?
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. Let's see.
Let him hear it on the Descriptive Influencers YouTube channel. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah, because the headphone's kind of getting in the way. So.
Go ahead, bro. You got it.
So the song's called. Let me pull this camera down so you guys can see the guitar. So this song's called Without Numbers. It's one of my band songs. We got a few videos on YouTube of us playing it. Get down. Something you mind to me. That's how it's got to be yourself, and know you better. Can you feel no better? Take the yourself in. Know you better. Can you feel no better? So did all the words feel like letting go into web design, loss of all control, breaking building blocks, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Give me them now, not decepting me. There you go.
Woo! Killed it, bro. Yeah. And
Little,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you killed it right there. What's the name of that song? What's the name of that song?
It's called Without Numbers. It's about like the inner workings of the human mind and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Check this out. Do a little bit of slap guitar. Like slap bass, but slap guitar. You know, and you know, I'll give you a little bit of this because I was the guitar viol. I'll play a little bit of this for you guys. I gotta see.
All right, and after this, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a quick break.
Yeah.
I
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it right here on the Josh Brett Horton Show.
Yeah, after he plays this, he gonna play us into the break right here.
Yeah, right now.
Yeah, play us into the break, bro. Oh shit, bro.
There you guys go.
All right. Thank you very much. Hey, we're gonna take it into the break, man.
All right, here we go.
We'll be right back.
Back from commercial.
Back from commercial, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Josh Brett Horton Show, episode 11. And shout out to Ivan for hooking us up with the recording here today. Much love. Be sure to catch Circle of Debate every Friday on YouTube. And what we was discussing your life and everything, M.G.C. and yeah, also I wanted to, we just saw you playing the guitar and everything. You was fucking killing it.
Thank you. You know.
What is your newest song you got out though, right quick?
We might do a recording because there's no official recording of that song Without Numbers right now. So that might be the next one. There's another song we have called Jacinta, but I don't play guitar on that one. And it's a very short 2-minute song, and it's very, you know, complicated. Actually, it's like both about my grandmother and about the Prime Minister of New Zealand. It's a crazy song. It's like a Latin beat, but it's like gothy Latin progressive metal song. It's nuts. Jacinta.
Yeah,
and I think that's gonna be the next one that'll be released pretty soon.
You have to let me hear that when you know because I'm honest about shit. Like you asked me about that one band, and I told you that I liked them, and then you sent me another song, and I told you I didn't like it or what. You know, all you got to do is send me the shit, and I'll tell you the truth.
Oh yeah, I'll send you my favorite band too. I'll send you them also. So most of my favorite bands are all Japanese, but like I think you'll get a kick out of them. You know,
but yeah,
they even got songs in English too.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I asked everybody this that's on the Circle of Debate podcast with us, and you're a special guest on there a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You're also on another podcast. Is it also about wrestling?
No, we did an episode about wrestling, but we did it about because there's this girl, she's a Japanese pop star, and she's really good friends with Kenny Omega, and there's actually a rumor that she might be dating him. And she's from the group, the Japanese pop girl group called AKB48. They're kind of like the Spice Girls, but there's over 100 of them. But she's the most popular member of that group.
Over 100 of them.
Yeah, there's over
Damn.
100 of them, and there's also branches in other countries too. But she's Japanese. Her name's Matsui Jurina, and she's a singer. She does some wrestling, and she also does color commentary for mixed martial arts too. She's an actress. And she also played Hamlet in the Japanese production of the Shakespeare play. This girl does everything. And right now she's about to graduate. Like, in Menudo, when you get too old to be a pop star, you graduate. She's about to graduate this fall, like in October, and nobody knows what she's going to do next. Her name's Matsui Jurina, and she could appear in AEW. She could appear in Stardom. She could make music in the USA in English. She can make music in Korea and Japan. You don't know what this girl's gonna do because she could do so many different things. She's like, it's not like, imagine if one of the Spice Girls was also a wrestler but could speak 3 languages.
That'd be crazy, bro.
Yeah, this is basically what she is. You don't know what she's gonna do because she has so many options. And she could be Kenny Omega's girlfriend. She could be in AEW. She could be in Ring of Honor.
Man, I think Riho might got that spot.
Yeah, we don't know. Once we find out. Jurina,
yeah.
Her name is Matsui Jurina. She's a pop star, and she does so many.
She's a wrestler too.
She's a wrestler too. Yeah, she even
I've never heard of her.
She was even the star of this drama that Nyla Rose appeared in. There's this drama called,
in Canada?
No, in Japan. It's called Tofu Wrestling.
Okay.
It's called
Tofu.
Tofu.
I heard Nyla Rose was in something that was in Canada too that was on TV.
Nyla Rose was in Tofu Wrestling, and she played her and Jurina wrestled in the show Tofu Wrestling. But it was sorry, I got off track, but the other podcast I'm on, it's mainly about like Japanese animation, anime, video games.
Oh, see, I thought you was on another wrestling podcast.
We talked about wrestling just because Jurina is also involved in video games. She's a Japanese pop star, and we talk about Japanese music on there because it related to both wrestling and it's where both of those things came together. We also talk about K-pop. We talk about rock bands, music, pop culture, just a lot of different. It's like an entertainment, Asian pop music podcast.
Man,
it's called A to J Connections. Connections. Check
it out, everybody, if y'all haven't heard about it. But
on Twitch,
yeah, man, everybody I've from the Circle of Debate, I think I've asked the same question though. How have you? I mean, when did you get into professional wrestling? Like, what was your first time watching it?
So
what age was you?
So this would answer this question and the next question because it's a little bit of a happy story and a sad story. So I have a family friend. His name is Marcus, but like in Filipino culture, a lot of us have nicknames. So like my mom has a different name. Like her given name is Ophelia, but of course I call her mom since she's my mom. But all of my cousins and my aunts call her Neneng. So my cousin who got me into this, his name is Marcus. He goes by Ping Ping, and he's the one who got me. He got me into wrestling when I was only like 6 years old. He was showing me something with the Undertaker and some dude in a plastic body bag and Hulk Hogan. And he used to have all these wrestling toys, and I would always be watching wrestling whenever I came over to his house when I was little. So he's the one who first got me into it when I was a kid. And then the other person was my best friend in elementary school, Adrian. But my cousin Ping Ping and Adrian, they're the two ones that got me into it. The sad part of it, because you were going to ask me if I've ever been through anything.
Yeah. Next question would be like, what's the worst shit you've ever been through in life? Like worst shit you have ever had to overcome?
I wouldn't say this is the worst thing, but that same person, Ping Ping, my cousin who got me into wrestling, He passed away from leukemia when I was like 8 or 9 years old. So that's kind of why wrestling is so important to me, just because it also reminds me of him whenever that. I wouldn't say it's the worst thing that's happened to me. Probably like one of the worst things that's ever happened to me was like getting bullied in high school and getting all the high school and middle school and getting into a lot of fights, getting into a lot of fist fights in like middle school and high school.
You know, if you don't mind me asking, man, what was they bullying you about?
I think it's like me having long hair, wearing makeup at school, listening to different music, you know, just me being different. Like it didn't have to do with my ethnicity, but it was mainly about like growing my hair long, because it's more fashionable for men to have like short hair and, you know, not wear makeup or not
around
dress
here,
a certain way.
man, like I believe it was like, you know, around 2009, 2010, like everybody started rocking long hair again. Like,
yeah,
and it was cool. It was cool to rock it again.
Man buns started
I
going in.
I never had one of those, but if you check on my Facebook or whatever, man, you look at the pictures from like 2000 and maybe 13 to fucking 14, or no, actually, you know what? I only cut my hair short when I turned 30. But yeah. For a long time there, for like 7 years straight, it was I had my hair long.
Yeah. The long hair is you can do more stuff with it when you have more hair on your head, you know. I mean, it's a lot of work. You have to use more shampoo and more conditioner.
Oh, definitely, man.
Yeah.
And my shit was like it would get curly and shit. I'd have to just straighten that shit, like, because I hate fucking curly. I hate curly hair, but
I have to
straighten it.
I have to straighten my hair too. My hair is actually naturally wavy, so it gets crazy. I get a fro sometimes when I don't straighten my hair. My hair is like this big when, you know, or this big when I don't.
Have you ever thought about when you're going to cut it?
I cut it to like this. I cut it to like this length whenever I cut it. It's usually just the same length as my bangs, but, you know, I'm gonna grow it out for a little bit until like, I don't know, until like next winter.
See, for me, I was like, as soon as my 20s was over, man, I was like, all right, my hair cut short again, because it's been 2.5 years since I last had it cut.
Josh, were you born 1989?
Yeah.
Yeah, March. Same year. March
1989.
January.
Oh yeah.
And I'm an Aquarius. I'm an Aquarius too. Do you know what sign you are?
Bro.
Pisces. I didn't get along too well with this girl that was a Pisces. Like, apparently, like.
Oh yeah, fuck Pisces girls, man. If there's any watching, man, I'm sorry, but everyone I've met, you know, they're kind of cool, but then they want to run, you know,
like,
can't get along with them at the end.
Like
cancers, damn it.
My girlfriend's a Cancer. We haven't had any problems yet, but yeah, I used to like this girl that was a Pisces, but like the smallest things would piss her off. I don't think you don't seem like you're like that though. I don't think.
Oh man, if you knew me in person, man,
like small things don't seem like they piss you off.
If somebody wakes me up early, I'm like, get the fuck out of here, and I throw something at them. I'm mad as fuck, bro. Like, yeah.
I like to sleep in too. I've been sleeping in most of these days, so, you know.
But like little things, like, you know, if we go to McDonald's or something and we get home and our fucking order ain't in the bag, I'm like, how many fucking times does we gotta get home and the order be wrong until you learn how to fucking check it? You know what I mean? Like, I'll get mad over shit like that, bro.
Yeah, you seem more outgoing than, like, I think, was it a Pisces thing to be shy? Because I don't know what
yeah, man. I was shy, like, since fucking kindergarten, bro.
Yeah, because there's all this stuff with horoscopes. Like, some people believe it. I'd say it's like maybe like 30% true. That's only true.
A lot of it's fucking true, man. Like, if you read it and you realize like what people do, like it's true. It's true.
A lot of Aquariuses I know they're either actors or musicians like me. Like, they're either in bands. Like my drummer my old drummer has the same birthday as me, and he's like 50 something. And then my other old drummer, his birthday is like the day after mine. So.
And your birthday January what?
24.
Yeah,
24.
see, I got a cousin that's on January 14th. But yeah, back to the worst shit you've ever been through, man. Is the bullying the worst?
Probably the bullying, and then it's mostly social. I gotta say, probably like just because the relationships between humans. A relationship between humans is so complicated because we're getting to know each other right here, right now. But like, there's so many things, like you'll never know everything about another person, even if you're married to them. Because there's like, the human mind is so complicated too. People are complicated. Like that, they said it's really hard to do autobiographies because real people are so complicated. They're very, like a fictional character is somebody you just make up. But when you meet a real person, real people have so many layers to them. So I'd say it's like everything's mostly social. That's why, like, whenever two people get along, that's a big deal. So you and me are getting along. This is a great thing, like virtual high five right here. Like,
yeah.
Like that. See, we're simple. I could tell you and me, we're simple guys. I mean, we enjoy some of the finer things. It doesn't need to be too complicated I want something fancy for my future, but it doesn't have to be complicated. Like I want to be the biggest rock star in the world, but that doesn't seem complicated because it's a simple, desire, So that's like.
Did you ever have any kids, man?
No. Here's actually like, a big thing. A big kind of difference that I did kind of notice with me and you, that I'm kind of starting to turn over a leaf on. I used to, because I personally never want to have kids, but I used to be really like, not prejudiced, but like very dismissive of people with kids before. Like I used to have the policy where I don't want to be friends with somebody with kids, but now I'm starting to make more friends with people who do have kids, and they seem to be a lot nicer than the people who don't want kids. But like personally for myself,
it's stress, man. It's stress, man.
Yeah. So I personally, I'm planning on having a vasectomy, and I don't want to ever have kids. And I want to enjoy like the rest of my life and kind of work on like all the different, because I have so many small niche interests other than wrestling. I want to learn a lot of different musical instruments. I want to write a book. I'm planning on, I think before I die, I want to direct a movie. I'm working on the science fiction story right now about it's like World War III in outer space, and it's insane. So I might be completing that. Like at the beginning of the quarantine, I was like grinding and writing stuff on that. There's a lot like I guess like writing that, finishing that book, and
so you got a lot of big goals, man.
Yeah, and those big goals are kind of hard to do because like children are a big goal alone, because you have to give so much of your life to them.
Yeah, you really do, especially when you got fucking 3 or 4.
Yeah. Yeah, you got that. See, you understand the responsibility to it, because there's some people that just want to have kids just for the hell of it.
If I wouldn't have kids, man, I wouldn't have been able to, if I wouldn't have kids, like I would have kept partying, and like every week almost every day I was having big house parties, and like probably fucking 50 people over a fucking day. Like it was crazy.
I heard a lot of people come out to events and like because here in California, there's so many different things going on at once. Whenever you throw a house party, you don't get as many people. But I heard like in the Midwest and in the South, because there's not a lot
around here, man.
Yeah, everybody comes to concerts. Everybody comes to house parties, just because there's not enough to do and people are looking for things to do. So everybody comes out. In LA, everything's so competitive. Like there's like 20, there's like on a Monday night, there's 20 different parties and maybe like 10 people at each one,
Yeah,
so.
but I would say, man, like if I wouldn't have had fucking kids, man, I probably would have kept being wild. I probably would be dead right now or in jail.
Yeah, it grounded
to be honest
you
with
in
you.
a way.
Yeah.
I think
some people need that to happen to them so
yeah,
they can straighten up, you know.
yeah, because
Not me.
that's so that's why I want to have like, you know, that's why I want to have a vasectomy, just to like, you know, cancel out
So you're
that shit.
actually gonna have a
Yeah, I want to.
vasectomy though.
Yeah, just so I don't have to like worry about doing that shit on accident.
But
Just,
those things they hurt, don't they? Or they put you to sleep.
yeah, they put you out. They put you out, and then maybe it's just like maybe a few days of recovery. It's not that bad. It's not like having an organ or your or like a piece of your spine removed or whatever. It's like it's just like a little. It's just, there's even like a newer version where they don't fuck your balls up as much or whatever. There's like it's very
Man,
simple.
as long as it keeps you from getting somebody pregnant, then it works though, right?
Yeah, that's the main reason. Yeah, I got a friend in Colorado who got one done, and he got it for cheap. So it was pretty simple. So I used to.
Shit, I
so,
would make sure it was like the real deal though. I don't know. I wouldn't get one done, man, because I don't know. I'd be scared.
Yeah.
Like I'd be scared, man. I wouldn't do it.
Surgery is pretty scary. I mean, having my wisdom teeth out was pretty like horrifying for me. That was like something else. I was
your wisdom teeth.
Yeah, getting my wisdom teeth out was scary enough. Like, and yeah, let me tell you something funny. Like when I was in there with my dad, and I was telling my dad, I was like, Dad, I'm really scared. I've never been put out for surgery. And my dad was just ignoring me the whole time. He didn't give a shit. He was like, wow, look, the crown molding on this tile is so fancy. And I'm like, Dad, I'm scared. They're putting in the IV. No, son, you got to look at this crown molding. You know? But the whole time my dad was like pointing at the crown molding on the wall in the office of the oral surgeon. And he was like, wow, this is so well done. And I'm like, Dad, I'm scared. They're putting in the IV. And it's like, look at this crown molding, Matt. It's so it was my dad didn't give it was like my dad's like, you'll be okay. You know, but it was
I'm kind of glad I had kids though, man, to pass on the genes and the legacy and shit. But yeah, get back to the bullying thing. Like, is there any message like you want to give anybody that's going through that right now to help them overcome it like you did?
Here's the main thing that you gotta get from it is that shit in high school, like most people don't remember or care after high school's over. So like everything I was going through in high school, like, you know, like I liked a girl with a boyfriend at the time. I liked a lot of popular girls in my senior year, and I thought like being with them would kind of like change my reputation and change the rest of my life. But I found out how much people don't care about what went on in high school after high school. Like almost nobody care. Well, when you live in the big city, but it's like nobody cared after high school, and it wasn't really worth all that stress. So even if like you're bullied for all 4 years of high school, it's over and nobody's going to remember or care after. And people barely even talk to each other after high school. So it's not even worth the stress. I just didn't show up to the reunion because I already know I would have like punched somebody in the face or 3, but it's over. That's the main thing, is that it's over and it'll never happen again. So, and I'm happy, you know, my 20s, I gotta say, were way better than that. It's better to spend time with people who share the same interest in things as you and devote more energy to them. In fact, like one of the things I was looking at, because people were talking about somebody might be going through a time machine, you know, right now in 2020. So I was thinking what I would do if I had a time machine. Some people would like go back. Some people are doing all kinds of things, but I think my plan if I had a time machine is I would go back to when I was 17 with the winning lotto numbers.
Definitely, bro. Definitely.
And then I would invest that money. I'd make more money, and I'd still be friends with all you guys. I'd fly you guys all out, and we'd kick it, you know? And I'd get like a nice place. Like that's the main thing. Like no matter what time period I'd go to, as long as it's before like 19, as long as it's the time I was born in, and I got the winning lotto numbers, that's what I would use the time machine for.
Why you lying? Why you lying?
If you, Ivan, if you mess with major events, you might change too much. So I'm just gonna stick to winning with the winning lotto numbers. Like, any previous even if it could only go back 2 months, I would just use winning lotto numbers for my time machine. I wouldn't change world events because it's too crazy. Yeah,
For real though, man, because if you go back in time and change something little, it could change a lot.
Yeah, you might change too much, you might end up blowing the world up. So I think I would just win the lotto and that's it. And maybe I would invest in a lot of different companies that I knew were gonna blow up. Like I'd probably invest in a K-pop company, and I would invest in freaking I don't know, different real estate
Google
companies.
Or some shit, man.
Yeah,
I'd
Google
or some
Google,
shit,
Facebook, Instagram before it came out. Like I would go back to 2007 and just start investing. Like I'd win lotto and then invest. That's what I would do with the time machine. But yeah, to anyone who's being bullied, it ends, and nobody cares about those people after high school. So, and if it's college, those people are out of their minds. But back to like the thing with like parenting and stuff, I think I could get along with people who have kids now because I'm starting to open up to that more. I used to really be like hateful of it, but I think the other thing was I hate watching my mouth around, families and stuff. Because the thing is like I have to, when I'm around little kids, I have to watch my mouth or filter myself because and I kind of don't like that. And the fact that I have a friend who's like that kind of made me kind of angry, and I wouldn't want to. But now I'm kind of okay with it because I'm like, oh, they could stay with a babysitter. So they could stay with the sister or the mom or the cousin or the grandma or whatever.
See, let me tell you a story right quick.
I know you probably had something like that. Yeah.
No, it's like whenever I got my stuff charging or something, I'll tell my kids or my son or whatever, I was like, don't touch that or that's your ass. So I scare him. Okay, so he's used to me telling him that. So my friend is in here by himself, and I'm in there in the bathroom or whatever, and my son walks in here and hooks his charger up to the plug-in. And he's only 4 years old. And then he plugs his little tablet up or whatever, and he looks at my friend and he says, hey, you touch that and I'm going to whoop your ass. So, I mean, like, it's funny as fuck, man, but you try to tell him not to talk like that, man.
See, that's some real stuff right there. See, that's real stuff right there. That's what I like. I don't like any of that like fake, bow tie bullshit. Like when I have to be too like, like changing the game. Like I feel like I can lay back more. Like if in a family situation with you, I think getting to be myself is like the other thing with that. So I'm a lot more. I'm really surprised at like how some of my assumptions of people, how different they are once you get to know them. That's another big thing of that.
Oh, for real, man. I don't judge nobody, man. Like, anybody do what they want to do, man. That's their life. You know what I mean? No matter what. But yeah, man, I appreciate you being on the show, man. Episode 11 is gonna be in the books, and M.G.C, man, gonna be you gonna be on the top 5 on Circle Debate next week too.
Oh yeah. I'm definitely hardcore wrestlers. I have a feeling we're gonna talk about Terry Funk a lot. Bro, do you know about Onita?
No, but we'll talk about it next week. But man.
God.
But I want to thank you for being on the Josh Brett Horton Show, episode 11. I can't hold all my hands up because I got the phone. But yeah, appreciate it. Once. And we say salute.
Salute.
Thank you, bro.